trucker convoy winding its way through Canada has clearly become something much bigger than what it began as. It has become a symbol for people to voice their frustrations with overbearing COVID restrictions that see Canada remain one of the most restricted countries in the free world. This originally began as opposition to the trucker vaccine mandate, and it began really as an industry discussion, a technical discussion where industry analysts, people who know about supply chains, were saying, hold on a second, you don't want to bring in this rule almost 2 years into this where most people are vaccinated, most truckers are vaccinated, but if you're going to bring in a rule like this, it will cause disruption for the supply chain. And while there are spin doctors out there trying to tell you, oh no, nothing's happening, everything is fine, you read any industry publication, so many representatives of the trucking industry, Canadian grocers, they're all saying, yeah, something's going on here. We got problems with the supply chain and it's only being worsened by these vaccine mandates. So it began as that, but it has since turned into something much larger. You only need to see how over 50,000 people have made small individual donations to the convoy to see that this message really resonates with people. The idea of a movement gaining steam across the country, beginning on the West Coast, set to culminate in Saturday on Parliament Hill, where people say enough is enough. We are frustrated with so many of these overbearing rules. Look, it's been almost 2 years now, and we have seen all of these various successive rules brought in, and to see a mandate be brought in now, I think it's really frustrating to a lot of people because now should be the time where we stop adding new layers, instead we peel back the layers. Most people have their vaccines. The Omicron variant have thankfully proven milder than previous variants. A lot of good news out there to celebrate, but instead Canadian officials, they don't want to acknowledge this stuff. And yes, it is unique to Canadian officials. In the United States, regardless of what part of the country, Democrat, Republican, they are finding ways to make productive steps forward. They have far fewer overbearing rules. The United Kingdom has just said we're pretty much done with all COVID restrictions. Here in Canada, well, you've still got jurisdictions under lockdown, like Ontario and Quebec facing onerous rules. When Ontario gets out of lockdown finally, they're going to have rules like in the movie theaters, you can't buy popcorn. Because they don't want people taking off their masks, even just for a second. Meanwhile, you turn on the television, you see the Leafs playing a away game down in the US, and you see there are people just happily living their lives. Some are wearing masks, some aren't. Many of them are vaccinated, some are not. They're making it work. And yet here, broad-based rules and restrictions that seem to just be getting more aggressive in some sense. And I think that's what a lot of people are saying. I'm frustrated. I don't want this to happen anymore. That's why I'm supporting the convoy. It'll be really interesting to see what happens in the days ahead as the convoy builds steam, builds momentum. It seems the Liberals are almost wanting to revel in this division. They want to try and accentuate any sort of extreme remarks by anyone involved in the convoy. They seem to actually enjoy the lack of unity that they could maybe stoke from all of this. But when you look at people who are supporting the convoy, it seems like there is a lot of unity in that you've got people from different political backgrounds, vaccinated, unvaccinated, regular folks just coming together and saying, we like this message of enough is enough.